He was willing, he said they would be willing to.
I move we hire him so we can move on.
Yeah, we need
Mark's
to-
going to wait, so we need to get going
I'll
and
second.
get him with Mike.
Any further discussion? All in favor? No, sorry.
Can I bring something up? So the one thing I just want to touch base on real quick is because the 911 board does not have funds for legal fees, but 911, or EMA does cover the operation, so we would take the funds out of there. We budgeted $25,000 for legal fees in this next fiscal, and we'll do whatever we have to do to make the budget work. So last year we budgeted $2,500, I think we spent $27,000, and we were still under budget, so. I just wanted to
Pretty
throw
good
that out there.
discussion, and I think we need to talk about it again tonight. We keep approving expenditures, and but depends on who you talk to, whether we can legally do that, but, you know, either that or we gotta stop.
Any further discussion?
Yeah, I wanna ask Mark why he wants out of the agreement.
Well, I think the supervisors fully understand that if you look at the 2080 statute, Iowa Code Chapter 2080, to be able to use Chapter 2080, you have to be a political subdivision. And I think even if you look at the 911 Code Administrative Rules, it rules out the 911 Board as being a political subdivision. And so therefore, I think the political subdivisions themselves, if they don't like the original 2080, they're gonna have to sit down and decide how we wanna move forward. I don't think a 2080 service board cannot determine the future of all the political subdivisions.
Well, it seems to me, we have a lawyer over here that says one thing and a lawyer over here that's arguing the second thing. And all it's doing is costing money.
Yep.
So, what do you want?
I think you just wanna follow the Iowa Code. If you can't, if you have to be a political subdivision to sign a 2080, how can a non-political subdivision sign a 2080 for the Board of Supervisors? How can a political subdivision, who's not a political subdivision, sign a 2080 for the city of Beacon?
All right, I'll leave that to the lawyers.
Well, I think we have to, Dan. I'd like to do it some other way too, but I'm not one, and, you know,
Yeah, I'm not either.
we thought we were right when we did it, and we need to either prove again we're right, or disprove that Mark's right, so, you know.
So if it is goes to court, and it is not legal, then what do you want to do?
We're gonna sit down and see if we're gonna follow how, automatically it will revert back to 1990 or 89. It's a discussion where, the original 2080 was signed in 1989 and then again in 1992 by all the parties. And so then we have to go back and say, okay, is this what we still want, or do we wanna modify it and change it? How do we all wanna, how to look forward to moving ahead?
And if it is valid, then what?
Thank you.
The original one?
Yeah.
No, the one we have
Well,
today.
the current way we're operating now, if that is valid, if the attorney or the court decides that, well, yeah, that's in effect, then what?
I guess we don't have a say, but we're gonna have a hard time believing that.
Okay, well, you may, I mean, we won't know until the people in the suits decide, but, I mean, there is that chance too.
Yep.
So, in the meantime, we're spending a lot of money that could be going to other things. But this is a very basic disagreement in how this is all gonna proceed, so I guess that's what we gotta do.
I'd like to ask Mark a question. I don't have I don't have the file in front of me. Is the board open to any negotiations other than us? When I say us, the 911 and the EMA boards, are you open to anything other than meet all of your demands in your petition?
Well, I think
Is there any room for negotiation, I guess is what I'm saying?
Well, I think there is, but I think we have to look at the code, and if you look at chapter 34A, it's very specific, who has the authority to vote and has authority over the surcharge money.
Okay, if the 911 board and the EMA board sit down with the board of supervisors, if our three attorneys sit down, and the board of supervisor does not get each and every item in their petition, are they gonna reject any agreements?
I think we'll have to just talk talk it out and see where we're all gonna agree or disagree. But I think right now, all three supervisors do not think the 911 and EMA ought to be good. Even if you, it's my understanding, the 2015 EMA followed Johnson counties. That's my understanding. As I read through Johnson counties, the EMA and the 911 board are not even the same boards. The 911 board operates itself. And the funding goes through the EMA, but the 911 board is still the 911 board, a separate board from the EMA.
Isn't
The
that what we're
911
doing here?
board,
We still have two boards here.
That's what
I'm
we're
trying to
doing here.
follow you. I mean, we're talking about 911 right
There's
now.
two
right,
agendas
And a
here,
little
two
bit ago,
meetings.
we're gonna talk about EMA. Okay.
but you look at the 2015 agreement, it was signed by a non-political subdivision.
I understand where you're.
And then we can say what we want to, but the 911 board doesn't decide anything, just to say, yeah, here's the budget, we're moving it to EMA, and that's over with. Because you look at the agreement, it says, we're basically giving up all our responsibilities.
That you, the board has, or the 911
The
has?
911 board says no longer has any responsibility.
I'm still, and Mark, and I don't mean to keep the ball on, I apologize to you for that, but I don't feel you've answered my question. In the petition, of course, we've all discussed it, it's a very lengthy petition. Is the board open, are they open to any negotiations other than the two boards agreeing to all the items in your petition?
I mean, if the lawyers feel are illegal,
Is this board of supervisors, if they don't get each and every item outlined in the 60-some page petition, will you reject any agreements?
I don't know, Russ. I guess you give me some specific, I guess I can say for myself.
I don't have it here with me.
And so,
Sounds like the attorney's gonna have to decide.
Well, I disagree with that. I mean, yeah,
I
the attorneys
agree
can
too. I
talk,
mean, if-
but I believe
My
there's
thoughts
reason
are
here.
if the two boards, 911 and EMA, the three boards, excuse me, 911, EMA, and Board of Supervisors, if we can work out an agreement, that saves all the taxpayers' money. But there's no sense in the three boards sitting down together if the Board of Supervisors is gonna reject anything other than what they've outlined in their, petition. I've said it before, said it in a Board of Supervisor meeting. The status of Masco County's dispatching right now is far ahead of where it was when they were separated. And that's not a slam toward anybody back in them days. I worked in law enforcement here when they were separated, and I've worked since they've been joined together. My concern as a sheriff is this: I don't want to see our dispatching go backwards. And you correct me if I'm wrong, Mark, I think you were the one particular board member who brought this issue up with the board of supervisors. I just don't know that it doesn't, I would love to sit down, the three boards sit down and try to work something out. Everybody wins that way, if we could come to an agreement, but it's a waste of time if you guys are not willing to give anything in your petition.
Where is that petition?
You should have gotten an email, I'm sure at the last meeting.
It's,
I can read, I can send it to you.
I guess I haven't seen their request.
Yeah, you should have gotten an email. We brought it up at the last meeting, because I asked if anybody wanted to print it, I printed it, because it was 77 pages.
Well, maybe that's why I didn't read it.
the lawyers pointed out everything they thought we were.
The majority of it though is this, and that is the EMA and the 911 board separate.
So what happens if they
So what if
separate?
they separate, then you don't need an injunction?
Who runs the 911 board if they separate? Who's in charge of it?
It'll be this board.
The same board that's here.
People with the green dots.
The two boards are separate right now, Daniel.
Yeah.
It's the
But the day-to-day operations.
But I'm saying, like, Jamie, you kinda got control of it now, right? I mean,
I-
operations.
Yes, I oversee the day-to-day
Right.
operation.
The day-to-day operations, yes.
So that's gonna change to someone else.
That'd be up to the 911 board, who they hire for a dispatch, a director.
The changes would also be, if we separate the two again, how 911 is funded.
Right.
It would go back to per capita versus the way it is
Which-
now.
Why does it have to go back to per capita?
It doesn't have to.
Then you got a,
Every political subdivision will decide.
then you got a problem, because the city of Pella
And you
wasn't
want
in
that.
Mahaska County in
Per capita?
1989.
No, actually, I think I've been doing some studying. I found a guy from Ames, and he recommended a three-legged formula for funding. You take the percentage of population of the whole, the percentage of the valuation of the whole, plus percentage of the 911 calls of the whole, divide that by 3. It takes people to call the 911, you have to have a valuation, you have to have property, assets to protect, to call the 911, and then basically the calls will show who's calling and has the needs.
The valuation, though, that still is, that's based off of property tax valuation.
That's the assessor's valuation.
Yeah, again, you can have one machine shed with $850,000 worth of equipment in it that's not being assessed. And that's a big asset to go protect, and can burn up a lot of resources to do that. If you gotta drive 45 minutes out into the country and haul water, so that may be better than nothing, but.
I think we're probably getting a little bit off track here, because we're here, correct me if I'm wrong, I think we have a motion and a second to hire an attorney, and I think the discussion about, well, what would we expect from them is probably legit, but now we're probably moving beyond that, so. Any more discussion on that particular item? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Any public comments? Next meeting, assume we'll set it if and when we need it. So if somebody wants to make a motion to adjourn,
So moved.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?